shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. See, this passage is really suggesting that there's benefit in your waiting. There's something happens. You're renewed in that waiting. You're restored during that waiting. It fascinates me because I've often wondered why the Lord chose the eagle as an example. Anybody ever tried to find out why the eagle was the point of an example in this? I'm always kind of looking for stuff like that. But anyway, long before the eagle became an eagle, there was a waiting period. You know, which came first, the chicken or the egg? We don't know. But for this purpose, it was the egg. It was the egg. So let's just say, for the purpose of an analogy, we are all eagles' eggs, okay? And we're waiting to hatch. Now, in the waiting period, there's an incubation stage. And anybody know what an incubator? Most people know what an incubator is. Well, for those who don't, it's a place where you're put in an environment that has the exact temperature that you need to produce at the right time. It gives you the right amount of warmth and the right amount of lighting, whatever it needs to help you develop to your full maturity. And my son actually was in an incubator when I first had him because I delivered him early. So this whole incubator situation makes sense to me because he had to stay there until he was ready to come out. So we, this incubator could be likened to a pastor, okay? And you're going to him and telling him that you've been called into the ministry. Okay, pastor, I'm called into the ministry. All right, Lady Portia, I'm called into the ministry. I'm ready to go. I'm gung-ho. And they say, wait. I'm ready, though, in full force. I'm ready to go. I got this idea. I can do it. Okay, but let's wait. Well, wait was not the response that you were really expecting, but see, when Pastor and Lady Portia see you, they know that there's a maturation process that needs to happen. They say, I believe that you're called, but is now the right time for that. I believe that you're called, but let's just wait on it. And let's just see how things pan out. Let's just see how you handle things. Let's see your character develop. Let's see the changes that take place in your life. Let's see your level of submission to authority. Let's see if you're not always given the opportunity to speak and to preach. Let's see how you're going to respond to that. If you can wait. So, they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. What does that mean? Well, it's believed that ever so often an eagle renews its youth. It doesn't get younger because we know that doesn't really happen, but there's times in the life of an eagle where it feels so good that it thinks it's young again, or it behaves as if it's young again. So do you remember when you first got saved and you were so on fire for the Lord and you were ready to do any and everything and you told people about him? Well, we need a time in our spiritual walks where we're renewed again and we're back to that point to where, oh yes, I feel good about who I serve. Girl, you should come to church with me. You don't know my God. Let me tell you what he has done for me. We need to renew and get back to that place to where we're feeling youthful again in our walk with the Lord and able to move forward and make other people excited about it. Don't nobody want to come to church with you if you're dragging and dry about it. Hello? But in the midst of your waiting, if you could just press your way into the presence of God. See, that's where the renewing happens. And I'm not a singer, so don't ever ask me to sing, because I can't do it. But I do say that I am a worshiper. And it don't take being able to hold a note. It takes being able to commune with God. It takes being able to be intimate with someone you love so dearly. Intimacy comes when you're in love, or when you're trying to establish some love. And so in the presence of God is where you will find some strength and the renewal that you need. It shouldn't be suffocating you when you get in the presence of God, because he's showing you some stuff about yourself. Amen? You should be able to breathe when you're in God's presence. You get in there talking about, oh, Lord, I got to get out of here. I can't breathe. It's because in his presence is where he'll reveal yourself to you. It's in his presence where he'll show you who you really are. and what you're really made of. See, it's in his presence, and he's calling you to higher places, so you need to be able to get into a higher place. Amen? And so he's already equipped you with what you need in order to be able to sustain the heights he's calling you to. Anybody want to go higher? Amen. I want to go higher. And so, Lord, I ask that you would do a work on my respiratory system so that I can stand up in your presence. I can continue to breathe. I don't want to stand. I want to be prostrate in his presence, but you know what I mean. We're up high enough in worship where we know that the storm is on the rise. But you see, the eagle is smart because he uses those winds from the storm. He doesn't let those storms take him down. He don't let those storms discourage him. He knows to use the winds to take him even higher and further. So he waits on the storm. He said, here it comes. You see, when you're in your prayer closet and something on the inside of you starts telling you, you need to start praying because there's something coming your way, you need to listen to that, because that's when God is saying to you, get in my presence. Get up here. Come up here. And it's when you get up there that you see what the enemy is about to do. We don't have to be blindsided by the enemy. But if you're not in that place with God, you will be blindsided by him. But then the eagle waits, and he mounts up his wings. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's mounted up. And as soon as the storm comes his way, he flies on over it. He takes flight above the storm, using the storm to coast along and saying, I know that I'm under attack, and I know that there may be danger ahead of me, but I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you. So how do I act as the eagle? How do we act as the eagle? We mount up. And when the storms start coming our way, we use them as a way to push us higher. And the other thing about the eagle is that his eyes have ultraviolet rays, or blocks them from ultraviolet rays. So he can fly towards the sun. And when he flies towards the sun, he blinds his enemy. So we need to fly towards the Son of God. When we go up, and we go towards the Son of God. And the light from the Son of God blinds our enemy. See, he can't find you when you're in God's presence. He can't find you when you're hidden there. When you are underneath the shadows of the Almighty, he can't find you there. He can't find you. That's our defense against him. Our worship is our defense. And Elisa was saying that our praise is our weapon. It's what takes us from glory to glory. See, we need people who have unrestricted praise. People who will just break out in a praise in the middle of a service and not care what nobody's thinking about them. We need some in advance praisers who are going to praise them in advance before the storm and before I receive my breakthrough. That's what I'm saying. Because if you can get yourself in a place of praise, I'm telling you, when I first moved here from Michigan, I was alone. I had been doing all my ministry and stuff in Michigan, and I moved out here, and God put the brakes on me. Put me on a shelf. I had my husband and my son were here, but they weren't the ones that I went to for, the fellowship that we women have together. I didn't have my girlfriends around, my prayer partners and all that. I was walking around, I'm a friend of God. I am a friend of God. But you know what? That was in my spirit. Because when none of your friends are around and nobody can be called on the phone, I am a friend of God. And the more I sang that, it was pathetic. I'm telling you. In the beginning, I meant it, but it was pathetic. I am a friend of God. But before you know it, I am a friend of God. I am a friend of God. I am. Because when nobody else is around, when every storm is breaking out in your life, he's going to stand there for you. He's got your back. He's got your back. And so he's your defense. So when you're pursued by your enemy, and I'm not just talking about the devil. I'm talking about the enemy of your flesh, because he will pursue you. Your flesh will pursue you and try to take you down. But we need to be led by our spirits, amen? The enemy of your mind, discouraging you. The enemy of your soul, trying to steal your salvation. The enemy that runs around, that has flesh on its body,